shores and woodlands of the north, it's history of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fishery. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around, my friend, and all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. And sometimes when the moon brings out the diamonds in the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold, the wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can, it tells you all their beauty in the state of Michigan.
Hi there, come on in. I know you deer hunters, this is the show that you're looking forward to that gives a forecast around the state from the regional biology. Again, all this coming up in just a moment, plus a great recipe and a lot more, so stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. It's Thursday night, time for Michigan Outdoors. Word has it that Michigan's 1989 firearm deer season will be the best ever statewide. Bob Wood is the regional DNR wildlife biologist for the Upper Peninsula. Bob, is this season going to be a record breaker in the UP?
Probably. You see, we saw a major impact last year with lots of wet weather and lots of high winds, and an expected jump in the in the harvest never did really occur. We took a few more. So I guess I'm hedging based on the weather, but given a break, it will probably top any season we've had in the past.
Are the deer going to weigh any more or have any bigger racks this year than last?
We have excellent acorns scattered throughout the north country up here in the UP, and that will certainly have an impact on the fat. It'll certainly have an impact on the deer and their health. I suspect we had a small impact last year. We lost some animals because of the winter we had, and we lost, again, mostly fawns, around 70,000. There may be some small impact on that year-and-a-half-old buck class here, and therefore we may see in the bag some larger bucks coming, but we normally only take 50% of our deer as year-and-a-halves anyway, and there's a large supply of bigger bucks out there. So I think normally we have a pretty good representation of those bigger, older deer anyway.
Oh, well, that's a good sign. Last winter, hung on, which was kind of a surprise. I think all of us expected it would break early. That's what did the damage, huh?
Yes, in fact, I suspected had it lasted another 7 to 10 days, we'd have probably doubled our losses.
Which would have had a significant impact here
Significant impact, yes.
So we skirted that, and all in all, you're looking for a season that this coming year will, what you say, probably?
Yes.
Probably be the record.
That's right.
Okay, you gonna hunt?
You bet.
Okay.
You bet. I'm looking forward to that venison sausage.
Super, we might see you out there.
The northern lower peninsula didn't suffer quite as much last winter. Regional DNR wildlife biologist Gary Bushell, will this be a record setter in the northern lower?
There's a good chance it will be. We're looking probably at a buck kill like last year and the year before, somewhere around 85,000. The antlerless kill is going to be way up, and with our new system of issuing bonus antlerless permits and the number that are available, this should be a super year up there.
Now, are we going to be able to go back to the same map we've done year after year to locate the concentrations of bucks and concentrations of deer?
I think basically it's the same place again. You're going to find the animals located between Presque County and coming southwesterly over to Oceana County. That's where most of the hunting pressure takes place. That's where most of the deer are, most of the public land, and most of the success. And that's where most of the hunters will be.
Any effect from the drought a year ago?
No, we had some impact on some of the fruit production, but we have a very good to excellent acorn crop this year. And with some of the early storms we had, those acorns are on the ground, and the deer are working over pretty good.
Now, what about this Indian summer that totally fouled up our bow camp? I mean, deer hunting really took a rest for about a week there in that 70-degree weather. Does that postpone the rut a little bit, or?
Well, the rut's not based necessarily on temperature. It's more on daylight. But I can tell you right now, the animals are very active, and anybody driving in the north ought to be watching out for them.
Okay. The November 15th is the time when half of the does have been bred, or how does the deer season in the northern lower compare with the rut?
By November 15th, about half will be bred or more. The activity begins heavily around the 10th of November and goes on from there.
Will the deer be any bigger this year? Bigger racks or anything than last year?
Well, remember the deer that are shot there are basically yearling deer. The bucks are yearling deer. So you have some minor variations in weight. They'll be about the same.
Okay, so in a nutshell, what does this season look like in the northern lower?
For a number of deers, it's going to be excellent.
Southern Michigan deer numbers have exploded in the past 10 years, and I suppose that regional wildlife biologist Ed Tucker will once again have an optimistic word.
This is going to be really a fantastic year down here. We're really excited about what we expect to see taken in the line of deer. We hope to take about 150,000 animals, but I'm not sure that it's going to reach that. We took a little over 75,000 bucks last year, and a total kill down here for just the gun season alone last year was over 100,000 for the first time. So it's going to be an exciting year.
Did you say you think it is going to be better than last year, or maybe not?
Oh, I think it's going to be better than last year. See, we killed total about 132,000 animals total. You know, archery, gun, muzzleloader, and so forth. So we know that it's going to be more than that, or at least I feel very confident that it's going to be more than that.
Okay, these deer, of course, are the biggest deer in the state. Body weight, no question.
Well, they are big. Now, we know we get some real big ones from some of the places in the UP, too, and I don't want to get my counterparts up there mad at me, but we do get some big deer down here, too.
I mean, a lot of them that have come in, people have 150, 200 pounds even.
Well, and our fawns down here are much bigger than they are up north, but they don't have the tough winters that they have up in Region 2 and Region 1, basically.
The drought last year, any effect on deer?
Not that we could really tell down here. Really, basically, our herd, we think we started to get it under control. We still have approximately 480,000 deer down here, and probably last year we had over 500,000. So, you know, we're starting to get the downward trend to the point where we hope to have a herd that is compatible with the farming and the agricultural business down here.
And what about car deer accidents?
Oh, that's been increasing yet. I haven't seen, obviously, the latest figures because we just can't get them tabulated quick enough, but I figure this year we'll probably have still somewhere between 25 and 26,000 deer alone just in this region here.
So in a nutshell, deer season in southern Michigan looks
great. Good place to come to hunt and to take those antlerless deer. We need it.
All in all, Michigan reflects the same story we hear all over the Midwest. Nearly every state is expecting a record-breaking season. I'll have a map with hot spots of deer numbers, hunter numbers, and big buck forecast for Michigan in the guide report, so stay tuned.
Young Ira Studi of Rochester Hills has a handful of steelhead, 22 pounds 2 ounces, caught on a flatfish. Dean Emity's Saginaw River spring walleye caught on a jig and minnow was 29 5/8 inches long. And here's a burbot or lawyer fish, 9 3/4 pounds, caught by Robert Brazil of New Hudson on an alewife. Here's Steve Hunter with a dandy, a Delta County 14-pointer with an over 20-inch spread. Dan Leonard of Owasso's opening day buck also had 14 points. It's a farm country buck. William Walker's Clare County 10-pointer had an 18 3/8 inch spread and was taken with a bow. Floyd Trish of Carroll called up this monster gobbler with a 12-inch beard. Tim Sievert of Highland is one happy 8-year-old. Well, he ought to be. His 6-pound 3-ounce bass came on a scientifically selected lure. Oh, you don't buy that? Okay, well, I'll let Tim tell you the story.
I was just fooling around in the tackle box and I took out a purple rubber worm, so I just casted it behind the boat and I thought I got hooked on a big weed. Then my drag started going and the fish started going around the trolling motor, so I gave the pole to my dad and he got it around the trolling motor and my brother Greg netted it.
Man, what a team effort.
Great story of a good family effort, Tim Sievert. You know, you've got some great memories, a super trophy, and our best wishes as our Michigan Outdoors Trophy Angler of the Week. And a final note before deer season. Recently, the Cooperative Extension Service put out a press release that appeared in newspapers all over the state. It led hunters to believe that they should wear gloves, rubber or plastic gloves, while field dressing deer, and that by not wearing gloves, you might expose yourself to a bunch of diseases. The risk, though, is really ridiculously low. Experts I've talked to say the actual risk of contracting a disease by not using gloves is about the same as having a tree fall on you in the woods. The Cooperative Extension Service in this case did a disservice to hunters. Deer season should be a fun time for all of us who hunt deer. Warnings like this that cause hunters to worry needlessly, they do more harm than good. Have a good deer season? Don't worry about the gloves.
To a farmer, a spud would be a potato. What is a spud to a fisherman? The most basic method of making a hole in the ice for ice fishing is chipping away the ice with a heavy, long-handled chisel. This chisel is called a spud, which the angler uses to spud the hole.
Elaine interested us a recipe for venison curry, which was in our recipe contest last year.
It climbed right to the top.
It most
top
certainly
contender.
did, and I can see why. It's a simple recipe, but very, very good. Got your potatoes and cubed venison, curry powder, some onion, and some garlic. And you're just going to saute the onion and garlic until it just loses its color there a little bit.
Well, this recipe is seasoned well. Oh, look at those venison cubes.
No fat, no connective tissue, just excellent
those
meat.
are perfect. That's how venison should look.
Yes.
Everybody's going to love
and
that.
And it'll taste good that way. And then as much curry powder as you want. If you like more, add more.
Well, of course, that's a powerful spice.
It is, very.
It really is. You got to lay easy on it for Americans.
Yes. And then add water and just cover it up and let it simmer. And you want to just let it simmer until those pieces of meat are done. And they will get done just about the time potatoes
they'll be so tender. You know, this doesn't come out like a stew. It isn't real thick.
No.
And the question is, of people who are familiar with curry, is the curry overpowering? Well, we have one fella who can tell us that.
Well, I love curry anyway. And this recipe has just enough curry in it. You know, I liked it when it was part of the contest, but now the way you fix it is just the right amount of curry in it. It's just great recipe. Something a lot different with venison.
Something great to take to deer camp.
It tastes like it'd be easy.
It is.
It tastes like potatoes with curry, but I can taste the curry in the potatoes, but in the venison it tastes more like venison.
Oh, it does. It does. It really brings
tasty.
out the flavor. Yep. It's good to take to deer camp. In fact, the hardest thing I think about this recipe is getting the venison, right?
You know, I can barely taste a nutmeg.
Oh, knock it off.
Venison curry, a super recipe. And of course, if you're short on venison, feel free to use hamburger. By all means, have a safe hunting season. We're going to be back with an on-the-spot short report next week, a complete report for the Thanksgiving show. Get outdoors if you can this weekend. It's a great place to be. See you next week. Next week, we'll all be deer hunting. And for those of you who are at home watching the show, well, we're going to explain to you and show you what hunters are doing in the woods on opening day of deer season. We're also going to have a quick report from around Michigan and preparing for our big report the following week. So join me next week right here on Public TV.